You could tell there are people in
it just told me it's been recorded. Yeah, it'll tell you how many participants as they come in. Yeah, so we have somebody in now, so please.
Samantha, Tramar, Anderson. Honestly, I don't want to butcher anybody's name. I'm gonna stop.
That's me too. I'm like, welcome everybody.
Exactly. And do participants, are they allowed to actually verbally speak at all, or is it just?
Not for the webinar, which sucks because sometimes it's nice to have that actual like verbal communication. But what happens sometimes is someone won't notice that their mic is on, and then there's a bunch of stuff happening in the background, and then we record and it catches like everything. So
that makes sense. Okay, I got you. Oh, I want to hear people's voices.
They're able to chat like actively. We usually have people that are like actively in the chat, which is really good. That kind of helps to steer the direction of the conversation as well.
Perfect. I'm just gonna write in the chat, everybody, even though they can hear me. Just gonna get it going.
Oh, I think. So this is the other one. So on your chat, it'll say to all panelists. You can change it to all panelists and attendees so that everybody can get it. Because now it'll just send it to me if it says all panelists.
Oh yes, that's true.
We learned the hard way. We had a workshop and it was about grants. And the panelist was like sending everything, all the resources, everything in the email, and nobody got it because she was only sending it to me. We didn't realize until the end. So it's like copy everything, email it.
Exactly. Copy and paste. That makes everything easier.
Yeah.
Mar, Wagwan.
Ali, Samantha.
Sarah Lee. I am excited. Big up Afrowave, honestly. Big up Lexicon and yourself. This is amazing. This is needed, and especially in these times. Like, especially in these times. Andre, yeah, thank you for this, for real.
That's why.
Right? That is why I'm here, facts. That's why I'm here too, honestly. I'm all about each one teach one, each one reach one. You know, we can all learn from each other. I'm all about that, you know, in this lifetime. That's all we have. What's up? What's up?
So for everyone coming in, we're gonna get started soon. We just want to give everybody a chance to get in so that we are not repeating ourselves too much. And then we'll get started.
For those who are here, where are you all from? Is everyone here from Toronto, Canada? Some people from the States, like me, I'm from Toronto, but I'm in Ghana. You're in Jamaica. We're all in different parts of the world. So everyone in the chat, where are you guys from? Let me know. Where are you watching? Hey, Florida. That was a quick response too. Hey, I used to Bay, Florida.
Brampton. I went to
David.
David.
Costa Rica. That's amazing. Would you say you went to where?
David Suzuki. It's a secondary school in Brampton. So when we moved to Canada, my family and I, we were in Ottawa for a while, and then we moved to Brampton for a year. Then we moved to Burlington. Then we moved to Hamilton. So we've been bouncing back and forth. But I did do a year at David Suzuki, which was pretty cool.
Wow. Someone says, say word same. Ketel, I hope I say your name right. Ketel, beautiful name. Kietll. Ketel. And they said same. And can please everybody in the chat as well while you're here, can you also write your pronouns, like Andre, what you refer to, if Ketel as well, Tramar, just in case. So if you could write he or she or they, etc. So we both know, or we all know. But you know, interesting fact, I was born in Hamilton.
Really?
Actually, yeah. Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, I was born in Hamilton, moved to Toronto. I lived in Burlington as well, Brampton, Mississauga. And then I lived in America for like 11 years as well, Tampa Bay, Florida, New York, Tallahassee, Atlanta, Georgia. My parents moved like every year. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I lived on my own, so outside of my family. I lived in Mississauga for about a year, 2 years. And then I spent
Wow.
3 years in Toronto.
So do you know Aaron Mills, Arendelle?
I know it, but I didn't. I was living downtown. Like,
Oh, okay. Okay.
I was on the East End, so like
Oh,
Danforth.
oh,
Um,
that.
I
Yeah.
lived in Scarborough for a while as well, but like 6 months.
Yeah.
Wasn't long. But yeah,
Wow. I'm surprised we never met. We live in the same places. It's
yeah,
crazy.
really,
And
really
how old,
in the
like,
same industry.
pardon?
In the same industry too, like music.
Exactly. Exactly. Who knows? We could have met when we were like 5 years old crossing the street.
I know. Alrighty. So we have just under 10. We have 7 persons in. I think we can get started. People may trickle
Yeah.
after. Okay, so I'll start with a disclaimer first. We are recording the sessions for everyone. So if there's something that you missed, even though you're here, or if there's someone that you know that wanted to be a part of it but wasn't able to, it'll be up on our website a week, 2 weeks. We try to get the workshops up as soon as possible, so you'll be able to check in on that as well. And we usually have it available as a podcast on our Spotify account, so whatever is more convenient for you, we have both formats there. So my name is Karis. I am a singer, songwriter, music producer. I'm now working as director of operations at AfrowaveTO, this company. Basically, what we do at this organization is try to highlight genres of music that we call culturally derived sounds. So associated a lot with like Caribbean culture, Latino culture, and basically put those genres and those artists who are within those genres, on the spotlight, give you access to resources that you probably wouldn't have access to. Do workshops like these. We do showcases as well. We are actually currently filming a live showcase that will be aired after these workshops. So the whole year we're doing stuff. So we accept submissions for your music as well. Information that you want to know, you can reach out to us. So we're here to help you. So that's what we wanted to do with these workshop series. This is our second year running these. We have 5 other workshops, but today we have Zakisha with us. She's going to be talking to us about her journey as an artist. And hopefully throughout talking about her journey, we'll be able to pick up tips, things that emerging artists can use to elevate themselves. We'll just listen to how she got from where she started to where she is. So I'll let Zakisha tell you a little bit about herself and the beginning of her journey.
Thank you, and big up Sarah. Sarah said this is an amazing organization, so I'm pretty sure she supports a lot. Thank you all for coming and being here. I'm so excited. I'm always excited to connect with beautiful people, like-minded souls, other creatives in this world. Like, creatives make the world go round. Creatives really brings up people's spirit. It causes an inner shift in ourselves and others. As we know, energy is contagious, so our creative levels can really boost up a person's energy and their vibe as well. So I'm honestly so just happy to be alive, overall. Grateful to be here, right? And so once again, my name is Zakisha Brown. I am a hip hop artist from Toronto, Canada. And I've been doing music since I was maybe 14 or 13 years old. My dad introduced me to hip hop culture and lyricism and substance and all of that. So I have felt in love with hip hop from a young age. Funny enough, it actually started with battle rap. I was always into the bar for bar, like ready to debate and battle anybody who gave me the mic, just on the spot. So I was like, yo, this culture is it's so raw and genuine and authentic, and you could be yourself, even if it's not politically correct, it's still yourself. So I found that like my spirit, my energy really gravitated towards hip hop music. And I've been writing ever since. From 13, I'm now 27 years old. And just maybe 3 years ago, I said, you know what, I'm gonna commit. Les Brown, my favorite motivational speaker, always told me, commit to your commitments, make sure that you're doing all you can do, if it's all you can do, right? So that's when I decided to pursue the arts.
That's good. So what are some of the goals that you set for yourself when you were just starting out, and how did they help you get to where you are today?
Yeah, so for one, it's interesting. Every time I wake up, I found myself, especially when I was younger, I had so much energy, there was so much life and so much vision inside of me. And I always thought like, how can I put this energy into use, right? I always say you can't get out of life alive, so you might as well live, right? So from a young age, I always program my mind and listen to these motivational speakers like Stuart Wilde and Les Brown and Jim Rohn. They would every time lift up my soul, right? And so every time I wake up, this is what I would do. And I was even more consistent when I was younger. I wake up and I say, all right, how am I doing today? Who am I and what is my purpose? This is from a young age, 14, 15 years old. I thought like, how can I be up there as one of the top artists in the world? So I would always wake up, and before I get out of my bed, I'm writing down things that I need to do before life comes at you, because in life, there's always something that's gonna come. Emergencies might come up, unexpected things might come up, but how can we stay focused on listing and actually finishing the list of things that I needed to do in the day, right? So I said, all right, I'm a pen and book person. I like to feel the paper, right? I like to connect with my book. So before phones and putting in the notes and everything, I said, I want to be able to see it every day, have it on my table, and that I could see what do I need to do today. So that actually helped me create a structure, and that helped me develop a habit of organization, because if it wasn't for that, I would be running all over the place. I would probably be doing things I didn't want to do. I'd be saying yes and taking on too many projects and forgetting about my own project and my own well-being and mental health. So I always said, if this is what works for me, I'm gonna keep doing it, right? There's another quote that says, it works if you work it. Right? So I'm like, all right, let me actually be consistent with this list, follow it day by day. Before I get out of my bed, it's written out, and then I continue doing that. And so that's what helped me stay focused in this journey.
Sounds good. I hope you guys are taking notes. Write them all down. So what made you choose hip hop? Like, how did you get into hip hop at all, all the other genres that were accessible to you?
It's interesting. Like I said, my dad, it's funny. My dad actually used to be a hip hop artist when he was 17 years old. He was almost like a Big Daddy Kane. Shout out to whoever remembers Big Daddy Kane, with the high top, and he had his backup dancers and everything. My mom used to sing. So I feel like genetically, it was in me, right? It passed on. And then as well as the environment that I was around.
Yeah.
My dad is actually a magician. So he performed downtown Toronto. He had the snake on his neck. He had the cars, the bending spoon, like the Matrix, right? And so every time he would say, I would give anybody $100 if you can beat me in a battle rap, right? And I'm like, I wanted that $100. I'm like, I want to beat my own dad in battle rap, right? So I went home, was like thinking of bars to battle my dad. And he was like, before you battle me, do you know what hip hop is, right? So he got me immersed in hip hop culture in terms of the people who originated it, the founding fathers, and what it really meant, right? And so KRS-One had a quote that says, hip means to know, it's a form of intelligence. To be hip means to be update and relevant. Hop is a form of movement. You can't just observe a hop, you have to hop up and do it. Hip and hop is more than music. Hip is the knowledge and hop is the movement. So write this down on your notebooks and journal. Hip hop culture is eternal. So when I heard that, I was like, what is hip hop? It seems like it's more than music. It's a way of life. It's a way of being. It's a way of living. So So I fell in love with that through my dad introducing me to the origins of hip hop through battle rap, and then becoming more interested in lyricism and substance and the stories that I have to tell. Because that's what I have to ask myself, what story do I have to tell? What story do I have to give that's authentically me, not someone else's story, right? And from there, I was able to pursue my journey up till now. So.
That's good. So I did a course once in college. I'm trying to remember it was called Unit Y. So it's supposed to be
Unity.
And it was pretty cool because we all went to the course where like it doesn't say music math, it doesn't say music production. Like it was a music school. And we all went in like so blank. And it turned out that it was a course about hip hop. So we had to study, like Queen Latifah and Ladies of Hip Hop and listen to Laurier Hill. And every week we had to write about what we got from the piece that we studied. And it was so interesting because everyone went in just saying, oh, hip hop's a genre. And realizing that it was like a whole culture. Like the amount of things that we were able to kind of look at and not realize what it was saying when we first heard it was just important. And it kind of made me realize that a lot of the music that we do, I know that they classify it as like urban music, but a lot of it is really cultural. It's so much more about the culture rather than, like what you're playing or how the beat sounds. Like there's so much culture that's infused into it. And I think it's really cool when you actually sit and take aside music, what you can actually get from it.
What you can bring. It's an energy exchange.
Exactly. How it influences your brand and how you can use it. Because even like we were saying, like you were in Ghana and I moved back to Jamaica recently, and it's just interesting to see the different like shifts, like how it shifts when you're in a place that's a little bit more, that caters a little bit more to who you are as an artist and what even here, like being in this society influences my music in such a way where it's like a natural effect, it's not something where I'm like, okay, let me tap into my Jamaican set. It's like I'm here, I'm in it, and I'm living it. So it's like you get so much inspiration, and I think that's just interesting to see how music and culture just like intersect. Speaking of Ghana, tell us a little bit about that move and why you decided to make that move and what that's done for you so far.
So it's funny. I had a performance opportunity here for Year of Return. I'm not sure if everyone heard of the Year of Return. Ghana opened up its doors for people of African descent of all over the world, right, to come back home in that sense, to reconnect with the culture and the roots, and understanding that actually a lot of Jamaicans come from Ghana, right? And so when I heard that, I'm like, I'm Jamaican. Let me actually understand like what. Right? What is this? What is Ghana really? What is it? What is there? So I was actually very interested in going back to the motherland and dispelling like the negative ideologies that people have of Africa and what Africans are and what the place looks like and are there homes or huts and all that. So I'm like, you know what? If I'm gonna be pro-Black, pro-African, I need to actually step foot in the continent my damn self, So I'm like, without fear. And even if I have the fear, just embracing the fear anyways and just going, So I came down here and my mind was blown, just seeing the experiences. I learned from my environment of like, the strength of the people, the way they can balance food on their neck, the way their core is so balanced, the selflessness of them, like the way they're so helpful, the way they say hi every morning, they say goodbye, how are you doing? In Toronto and in Canadian culture, sometimes it's a little bit cold energy. There isn't much warm interactions, So it really warmed me up. And that's when I came back to Toronto and I wrote a song called Went to Ghana. And that made me blow up as an artist even more because I was able to express what I learned from the environment that I was in, and no other artist has done that. Not even a Ghanaian artist talked about the beauty of Ghana in that sense, right? But sometimes it takes you not being from that place to recognize the beauty of that place, right? And so I was able to actually write a song called Went to Ghana that blew up, and the support skyrocketed in Ghana and in Toronto as well. So I generally feel like when there's momentum. Energy, like I said, is contagious. And this is as well for everyone who's an artist in here. Just remember that as soon as you get that momentum, just keep going. Like, plan and structure. If you want to drop one big thing, like I have an album coming out, all right, I'm going to have some music videos going right after that. And if not that, then another project that's going to drop, and maybe a lyric video. But there's a book, Celestine Prophecy, that talks about momentum and energy and carrying that on. Because of how big Went to Ghana was, even if a person didn't like the song, because the momentum of it and the love that it got, their minds ended up changing later anyways. They're like, oh, wow, everyone loves it. It must be really good. Let me give it another chance. Yeah, it's dope. Now I'm gonna share it. Now I'm gonna do this, So I think once you have that momentum, just keep going for it. And it's okay, of course, to take a pause and stop, refocus, drop another momentum, and keep going with that, right? So Ghana has helped propel my career as an artist. I'm finishing my album here, and the support has been huge based off of the radio plays. The way people are so quick to collaborate here. They're so helpful, like, hey, come to this radio station. You don't have to pay anything. Come here, come there. I think as a community, as a Toronto community, we can really learn from each other. If we come to Ghana, you actually see that, wait a minute, we have this one life. We're alive for 80, 90 years on this planet. Why are we making life hard for artists? Why are we making life hard for people who are trying to come up? All we need to do is share. All we need to do is reciprocate. And it could be as simple as that, right? So I think once you have that energy and that warm heart that you get from whatever country, come back with that and give the ideas, share the love, And I think that's also what's been helping me as an artist, is the open-mindedness and the ability to see what can I learn from Ghana and I can bring to Toronto as well.
I think that's really interesting, because I have a similar experience that actually brought me, because we moved from Jamaica in 2013. And then I never came back for like 7 years.
Wow.
Back, there's always something, like everybody else in my family came back, and I was like, oh, I have school. Oh, I have this, I have that.
Yeah.
So I never came back. And then I came back last year, right before, like literally the February before everything locked down, the March, and spent a whole year back in Canada. And then I remember being on a Zoom, like I started to get all these collaborations from Jamaican studios. And I remember being on a call, a video call, and the producers and everyone, that was in the studio, like, oh, just come to Jamaica. We'll teach you this. We'll teach you that. We'll work on this. And it was so interesting. It was refreshing to hear that kind of welcome, because I feel like contrasting Caribbean culture, even African culture, and North American culture, it's like there's so many ceilings, there's so much structure, there's like so much formality I find in Canadian culture, where I was like, okay, talk to this person to get to this person to get to this person. But here it's like everyone just looks at music as this like communal thing, and everyone's welcome. A lot more. So that kind of opened me up as an artist too, because you can become closed off if you're living in a culture that's a little bit more closed off. So I think, the lesson is be open-minded and just do it. Just go and see.
Regardless of people's closedness. So, because I always say this to myself, I'm like, you know what? When in terms of matching energies, I do my best nowadays to not match energy. I always say I won't match my energy. I'll just raise my vibe, right? Because we can all match energies all day, but why am I gonna go down to that level? Why also can't you come up to my level? So let me actually just be at whatever level I'm at. If I'm, you don't have to be low with me. If I'm high, you don't have to be high with me. But let me maintain my own natural level, my own natural heart, my own natural understanding, and do my absolute best to feed my subconscious mind with certain knowledge and speakers and books as well, so that the external world won't affect me so much, that the cold energy of Toronto that can happen won't affect me so much and won't make me so closed off. But the biggest thing is how do we do that? We're human beings, we have emotions, we have all of that. It's like, I think it's generally feeding the subconscious mind, like treating it like a garden as well. You know, knowing that weeds, I always tell people, weeds will come out of the sidewalk with no help, without being tended to, nothing, no one cares about it, but it'll still come. That's like negative thoughts, right? Our negative thoughts or our beliefs will come regardless if we pay attention to it or not. It's going to be there. But so what happens is we actually have to tend to our mind like a garden. We have to tend to it like a tomato, like we're growing organic onions. Those take work, and it's a constant, you know, habitual effort. It doesn't stop until we're gone, right? It's never just, all right, I'm positive today, this should last me forever. It's a constant effort, because our negative thoughts will come up regardless if we want it to or not. But how do we combat it? How do we be stronger than that, you know, and continue and not want to give up on music too? So, yeah.
So speaking of negative energy and, you know, all those obstacles, what are some of the obstacles that you faced? Doesn't have to be super personal, just anything that you think would be helpful to anyone here. And how did you overcome them?
So for one, like, you know, I always felt like I was too nice sometimes. As an artist, we try to take on so much, right? And yeah, and so I'm a quote person, so you guys are gonna hear a lot of quotes from me. But there is a quote that says, "Learn when to say no. Don't let your mouth overload your back." And what that means is you can say, yeah, all day, and then you feel like it's a burden, there's so much on your back. So for one, my obstacle was I was taking on too much. People ask me, can you do this? Yes, I want that opportunity, I want exposure. Exactly, can you do this? Yes, I want that money, yeah. Everything's yes, then I'm even negating my own projects, my own personal stuff. So for one, I had to learn when to say no, right? For two, I really had to just turn off my technology. If I turn off my phone for like 30 minutes, if I had everything around me to just focus, then I had to focus. I really had to turn that off. For three, I generally felt like I had a lot of fears. There's a fear of being successful, because in this world, there's so much people that are critiquing, that are haters, that come with that, you know, the comment section. I want to write a song called The Comment Section, because that the comment section is not for the weak of hearts. It's crazy. So like just knowing that I definitely had my own fears, you know, and knowing that what if I do, which I will, right, becomes beyond successful. How can I handle it? How can I manage? Am I mentally be okay? We see all these artists having mental breakdowns. We see so many people struggling. We feel like we even struggle on our own. As creatives, we naturally are so empathetic and emotional. So we're gonna have those low and high moments. But how do I not let that take me over completely as an artist who's even bigger, more eyeballs staring at you, more followers? So I sometimes have like anxiety thinking, dang, like that's a lot. Like, am I ready for this, you know? But then I told myself, I'm like, why not though? Why not? I have a story to tell. Everyone has a story to tell. And life, as I always say, life is part negative, right? So end of the day, we have to learn how to balance between the two and not absorb so much. There's another quote that says, observe, but don't absorb, right? So you can observe the fears. You can learn from your fears. You can even use it as a tool to be like, wow, I care about this. Because if I didn't care, I wouldn't have had any feelings towards, like, I'm about to go on stage. Why do I feel afraid? Because I love what I do and I care and I want it to be good. You know, you understand, wait a minute, I have these fears because of this reason. And you learn from those reasons. Where did it stem from? What was the root of it? So I had to ask myself, like, why am I so afraid of that? Oh, because I'm afraid of failure. I'm afraid that if I get to that level, maybe I can't maintain it. I can't be consistent. What if I sell out? What if people don't like me anymore? And I'm like, yo, that's my own mind. You know, at the end of the day, our thoughts sometimes are worse than the actions of just doing, and you never know how it'll turn out. So I have to just silence my mind, learn from my fears, and just say, yo, we can't get out of life alive. life is an experience and it's a gift. So I might as well go for it, you know? So that's why I have to keep doing it. It's consistent. Like I said, it's not, oh, I know that now, I'll never be afraid again. No, I might be afraid next month, next week, you know? So then now it's, wait, my subconscious mind remembers, oh, this, and that, you know? So yeah.
I think a lot of it, it's like, I think our external in terms of our environment and also our internal, like our spirituality and the things that we decide to get up and do. If you're a yoga person, if you're an affirmation person, if you're a quote person, I think that really influences how we evolve as an artist. Because I know for me, it's like, okay, hustle, 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 hustle. Say yes to everything. Like talk to this person. You go to the networking event and you leave and you're so tired because you've been around so many different energies, and then you shower and you go to bed and you get up the same day and it's the same thing over. And I realized that sometimes you have to cut people off, and sometimes you have to turn your phone off, and sometimes you have to limit your interactions with some people. There's criticism there. Like there's a point where I was getting criticism from people who weren't in music, and I would take it so personally, and then I had to stop and be like, But you know, a lot of it, I think after you've done it, after you've given yourself the time and the space, it becomes muscle memory. So it's like exercise. It's like when you stop it for a while, once you get back into it and you keep going at it, then your body, your mind kind of remembers. And I think a lot of artists, like you said, we're really emotional, we're really sensitive. And so we forget that we have to take so much care of that part of our life. So it's always like, oh, I need to do vocal training. I need to go run so that I have more stamina on stage. But we seem to always forget that we need to, take time so that we don't respond to certain things a certain way. And because I know for me, like what made me wake up with that was there was just, I don't know if it was just the people around me at that time or maybe a moment within myself, but it's like everything someone said would affect me creatively. So you'd say something and it triggers me, and I'd sit down for like 2-3 hours just trying to write a song, and it wouldn't work. Blockage. And I'm someone who, if I really sit down, I can at least knock out the frame of a song in like half hour, maybe something that I can work with at least. And so I realized I'm like, if I'm soaking up all of this energy, letting it get to me, if I don't have a defense system that's strong enough against, all the external stuff, then when it comes time to do it like really professionally, where your team's like, I need this song, I need this, you won't be able to tap into that part of you that can shut it all out. Because that was one thing that I had to realize. I'm like, right now it's easy for me to just operate on emotions, and I think a lot of artists are like that. It's like, okay, I don't feel like writing a song today, I'm not going to do it. But business, when you start doing it professionally, it's like if your team or if you set a deadline for yourself, even, because I know a lot of people here, like independent artists, myself included, and if you set a deadline for yourself and every day you get up, you're like, I don't feel like doing it today, it's never going to get done, right? So I think you kind of raised a really important point about your spirituality and your external factors and how much you allow them to influence you.
And it's another, I was gonna say last quote just to end off that bit. Like once again, I'm a quote queen, but another one that I remember that says, stand guard at the door of your mind. Don't let anyone just come and dump anything into your mental factor, because you're the one that has to live with the results. So stand guard at the door of your mind, because people will continue dumping and you're going to live with the results, which AKA you did, which, not being able to write and then thinking, etc. I go through that so much, there's different types of critique. So I get you 100%. And I wanted to actually know if people knew to do the Q&A section on the top, just
to bring it up. So that was what I wanted to get to after, because I realized I didn't say it at the beginning. So I know sometimes people send questions in the chat, but there's actually a Q&A option where you can send your questions directly to the Q&A section, so that afterwards, after we're finished, so around, what would it be, 7, we'll be able to get to the questions. If you have anything specific that you wanted to ask a question about. If Zakisha said something that you wanted more clarity on, then you can put all your questions in that Q&A section. Anything, just keep it clean, family friendly, nothing crazy, nothing personal. And we'll get to it and kind of talk about that as well.
It's just write it now, right? But we'll just get back to it. They can
we'll
write
get back to it at the end. If it's anything general, that's not a question, you can go ahead and put it in the chat, interact with each other, just so that we can keep it as friendly as possible, considering we can't hear everybody else that's on.
Yeah,
but just so that you guys know about that. Okay, so initially we had named this Becoming a Successful Independent Artist, but I know that there are a lot of persons who may have started out independently but now have a team, even if it's like an unofficial one or a small one. Is there a team that you work with, and what would be your advice for people who are looking to move to that step? How did you find your team? What would you look for? Just some of those recommendations.
Yeah, so good question. I would say for one, I remember like 2 years ago, I was so eager to get a team. But then I realized I haven't even built my own foundation, right? So it's like I had to actually map out, what home do I want to build, AKA what do I want my music to be like, sound like? What do I want to portray? Like, who am I as an artist, right? I had to ask those major questions first, because teams are individuals who come with their own ideas and their own perceptions. They might change your sound. They might change who you are. They might push you to do something you don't want to do. So for one, before, I would say everybody here who's an artist, before you look for a team, build your foundation, lay out a map of exactly who are you, what's your sound, and what makes you happy, and what do you want to portray? What do you want to say? What substance do you want to give to the earth, right? So that's why I asked myself first. I laid that out, and I'm like, you know what? Good thing I didn't get a team yet, because I would have just been blowing with the wind on whatever suggestions and ideas that they gave and just said, yeah, cool. But now I have a firm understanding of who I am, Zakisha Brown, a hip hop artist, what story I want to tell, and what my authentic sound sounds like. It's actually amazing to experiment with different sounds, etc. But just laying your foundation out first, that's number one. So now that my foundation is laid out, I'm able to be like, oh, okay, I need this person for marketing, right? And now after that, I need that person for like planning and organization to answer my emails, right? Things that if I can't do. And then if I need to raise money, now I need a person who's good at crowdfunding and GoFundMe. So I had to first establish my name, my brand, and then see what I need. So for one, I know sometimes, especially as up and coming artists, independent artists, I'm independent, we also juggle with our finances, right? Sometimes we don't have the most money as independent artists. Like, let's be real, we're still trying to make our way, right? So I think for one, say you have people that you love and trust, you've known for years, and you can maybe depend on, right? You can maybe ask them, hey, I don't have much right now, but is it possible that do you have any time to maybe take 3 hours out of your day to help me with emails? Or do you know someone who I can trust, who's reliable as well, to help me with this and this and that? So say you don't have the money to pay these people, you can at least see of your inner circle, who do you know you trust already, and who can you rely on, at least for the small things. And the rest, I'm not gonna lie, as independent artists, we gotta do a lot ourselves in the beginning until the foundation is laid out and we know who we can delegate the roles to, right? And then I feel like as well as once we figure that out, and then once we establish that, imagine you write a grant, and now you can actually start paying those people. Those people that did it for free, now they can get paid for that as well. So for one, just knowing who you want and who you need. For one, the foundation. For two, knowing who you want and who you need. And then for three, actually creating that stable team that can work consistently and do your check-ins. So me personally, I'm growing my team small right now. Like I have at least 3 people on my team, one for helping with any marketing and promotion, one out like with radio and outreach. So I know that's your role. We can do our check-ins, right? I know I need help with that the most when my album drops. All right, and now I also have an accountability partner. It's really good to get an accountability partner. That could be your best friend, your auntie, your mom, your cousin, your sister, someone that says, hey, the week ended, did you finish the 2 songs you needed? That's it. It could be as simple as that. They don't need to guilt trip you, nothing. You could just ask them, hey, I need help with the accountability aspect. Sometimes I get lazy or tired or unmotivated, so I need an accountability partner. And that actually helped me because I've been on the RISE team for 8 years, right? And for those who don't know, RISE stands for Reaching Intelligent Souls Everywhere. And so me being an artist and juggling and also kind of being an artist manager, I was able to see what I need as an artist and what other artists needed as well. But the reason I brought that up is because my friend Randell, the founder of RISE, he was my accountability partner. We were both each other's accountability partner, and it really worked, you know? You're almost building a small inner team as well. And then lastly, I would say when it comes to, say you don't have anyone you can trust, you don't know, someone you might not know for years, or everyone around you is too busy, I would say that, yeah, exactly. Thank you, David. I would say that for one, it's okay to actually delegate and be able to do what you can do by yourself for now and not feel guilty about it too, you know, because just making sure we allot time aside for ourselves as an artist, that we work harder on ourselves than we do our part-time job, right? So if we take the time to be like, wait a minute, let me spend 3 hours out of my day, 4 hours out of my day, part-time job, pay myself maybe a little bit, that could motivate you if you have to pay yourself, to actually answer the emails, to take the time, turn off your phone to structure what you need to do. Look out for someone who, maybe they're not exactly your team, but you can just pay them to do PR. You could pay them to do the marketing, right? And then there are people you can outsource who even temporarily they can do that for you too. But it definitely will come. The money is going to come, y'all. The grant, whether it be grant or people just supporting, you know, don't be afraid to as well to ask, or ask people to help do a GoFundMe for yourself if you need any help, you know? So yeah, a few tips.
So you touched on a couple things. One thing about branding that I want to get back to. I'm saying it to everybody so you guys can remind me if at the end I'm like, what did I say I was going to talk about? But another thing as well, like balance. You talked about, you know, the part-time job and trying to balance that and trying to balance like pursuing a career in music. How did you find your balance with like everyday life and still trying to get this music thing going and move into a whole new country? Like, how was that for you, and what helped you with that balance?
Yeah, thanks for asking. It's a good question. I would say for one, it definitely was a bit rocky at first because there was a lot of uncertainty in the world with COVID, with borders, with all of that. And so I'm just like, you know what? I decided not to think like 18 days away, 5 months away. I'm like, let me take it day by day. Day one, what do I need? What does Zakisha Brown need from me, for myself? Keep going, day one. All right, clearly how I'm doing it by just moving and kind of just going with the flow doesn't really work all the time. I need to actually have a certain habit that I pick up where I wake up and meditate. Take time out of my day. Sometimes I give myself 24 minutes to meditate for every minute of the day, right? There's 24 hours in a day, so I meditate for 24 minutes, and I just give myself that time. After I meditate, I do yoga. So now I'm centering my mind, centering my body, and just saying, you know what? This is me time. No one will interrupt me, and I'm now laying a foundation for the next few hours, you know, because life will always come at us. Something's always gonna come. So I had to actually establish a rhythm. Then after meditation, you know, take my time to read. Those are 3 main things that I need. So I think see what you need and see what works for you. If it's just laying in bed, taking deep breaths, do that. You know, if it's drinking water and with some meditation tones in the back, do that. But I really, I think Les Brown as well, when I listened to some of his speeches, he told me, personally, he told me, and as well in the video, that the brain has a certain oscillation levels. It oscillates at a certain frequency right when you wake up. So whatever hits you will be heightened because the oscillation wave is so high when you wake up. So that's why bad news can hit you harder in the morning. You know, you're even more grumpy in the morning. Any little thing will piss you off, will upset you, annoy you, because your oscillation, your vibration is already so high and sensitive in the morning. So when you know that, you go, all right, I don't want this to affect my entire day. So what is me time? How can I de-stress? How can I breathe? Be grateful that I'm alive. Just be grateful to be here in the present moment. How can I do that? So for me, like I said, the meditation and the yoga is a big part of me, and reading as well. And then that's when it goes back to what I was telling you guys before, the list. You write down what you need to do every day, and you follow that. You know, if it goes off a bit, at least you know you could pick it right back up what you need to do next. So that's what helped me stay grounded as much as possible, you know? Yeah.
Take notes, guys. Take notes.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned like, you know, your frequency in the morning, and I think too, just to add on to that, that we also need to remember that it's a cycle. Like you go to bed, you wake up, you go to bed. And so what you do before you go to bed is also really important. And I had to learn that. Like I would kind of realize that when I have certain interactions, if I'm talking to someone and they make me upset, now I'm going to bed upset. I'm probably going to wake up in the morning and be upset because I remember what happened right before I went to my bed. And so that affects your creativity levels as well, and what you're able to do, because now that's on your mind all day, because you started your morning with that, because you went to bed with that. And so I think it's important too. And a lot of what I'm hearing you say too is knowing yourself. And that's ironic because our last series, workshop series, that kept coming up. It's like, know yourself, know yourself, know what you need. And I think that's really important as an artist. So I know for me, and I guess everyone that's here, you can look at it too and do your analysis of yourself. I know I was bad in the mornings. Like, don't wake me up before 12. But then I realized I would wake up at 12 and not really probably get one thing done for the whole day. Then I'd stay up all night, randomly making music, and then I start the day again at 12 the next day. And so I was up and my energy levels were okay, but my productivity wasn't. And so I had to be like, okay, I can't just say I'm not a morning person and that's it. I had to make myself a morning person. And so I think when you really look at some of the things that aren't working for you or are working for you, then you're able to see, okay, is this something I need to just accept, or is it something that I need to work on and change? And I know even when I started doing like yoga and podcasts and trying to spend a little bit more time with myself in that way, I would try to do it in the evening because I'm not a morning person. And it would not work. Someone would be on the door, I'd be hungry. There's a song popping in my head from something that happened earlier. Like there were so many distractions. No, we need to find a way to get up.
Exactly.
And you start slow, you know, like I started with the podcast because it gave me an excuse to like just lay in bed, convince myself for the 10 minutes that I need to get up. So by the time the podcast is done, then I'm ready to get up and actually do the yoga, do the meditation. And so we need to know too how we are and how we react to things and what we need, because that is also important that you said in picking the people that work with you. Like I know I'm sensitive to criticism. I have not developed a thick skin yet. I don't know if I ever will. And so for me, I have to have people who will be honest but know how to do it to me.
Exactly.
You know? Throw it at me, I shut down. I'm like, okay, really, that's what you think? Let's go.
Exactly.
You get defensive. And so the people who are closest around me, they're like, you know what? I thought this song could use a little bit more of this, but it's your song. I'm just saying, as somebody who's not in music. So they know how to, and I can get the message too from what they're saying. So I think it's important, you know, always come back and figure out who you are and be honest about it, because I could always fool myself that I was a morning person, but I know I had to accept that I'm not. So I have to make it work for me. So
and just,
I think
works. That's the key thing right here. A takeaway. Just find what works for you in the morning. I thought I could wake up and go jogging. I said, oh, I must have been kidding myself. I said, let me find a new way that works.
Yeah.
And then there's the big thing is discipline too. Like it's such a basic thing, but we have to just remember it. You know, we could have enthusiasm. I'm going to do this, but as soon as you get to the gym, you need a new enthusiasm. You need discipline.
Yeah.
Okay? Like I can actually do this. So I think after enthusiasm is the discipline. But number one, find what works for you in the morning. Your me time. What do you do to balance yourself? Yeah.
And keep at it, because I know, like, even on the topic of knowing who we are, it's so funny how you look at little things that you do as kids and how they translate into your adult life. I was the type of person who, if I made a mistake on the page, like writing, I would tear the whole page out and start writing again. And looking at my young adult life, I'm like, I do the same thing with my life. Like, when something isn't going as consistent, I like stop and start it all over. And so that's one thing that I see a lot with artists as well. It's like, so we end up starting so many projects and never finishing. Or we don't get to progress because we keep going back to square one, thinking, okay, this time I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, and can I get it right? And it never happens. And so keeping at it was something that was really important for me. It's like, okay, this year I probably only dropped 1 song, but I did a song, and I'm gonna keep doing that until it goes up to 2, 3, maybe an album. And even something as simple as yoga, like getting up in the morning, I would go straight for like 2 weeks and then drop off for like 3. And then the next week I'd be like, oh, okay, maybe I'll just start over from like beginner yoga and keep going. But instead I just kept pushing myself, and you miss 4 days, but you go back. And so I think that's important too, to kind of bring to any career that you're in, to just keep going regardless of what it is. Branding. So you talked about selecting your team based on your brand, based on what you wanted to portray as an artist. How did you go about determining your brand and what you wanted, what message you wanted other people to get from you, what look, what sound?
Yeah, so I think for one, I'm all about authenticity. I never sat down and said, what's my brand? The brand actually just came to me based off of who I am as an individual, as a hip hop artist. Who is Zakisha Brown? So before branding, before any of that, ask yourself, who are you? And once again, what do you want to sing about? What do you want to rap about? What do you want to be about? Who are you, right? So once you figure that out, your brand will naturally form around that. But if you try to create a brand first and then keep up with that brand, that might become acting now, right? And next thing you know, you say something where it's like, what the heck? I didn't know this person was like this, because they were never like that in the first place. So it's like, as soon as you become you, then people understand automatically, okay, this is who she naturally is. So whether we call it a brand or aesthetics and authenticity, all of that, then at least we know, all right, this is who she is because this is who she is, right? And so after I figured that out, I think the branding came with it naturally because of me. I'm all about like my natural hair. I love my afro. So, okay, now my afro's a brand, cool. You know, so in me, I'm all about like representing different colors and kente and African culture, clothes, and I love different suits, and okay, now that's a brand, right? So I think finding what you love in your brand will actually start forming around that. And then once you actually find that image you're going for, image you are, once you find that out more, then you continue building on that, right? Then you can grow with that. So at least it's around who you are, as opposed to faking a brand and faking it till you make it, and then next, that wasn't even you the whole time.
Yeah. I think too, I know from what helped me was, because I was the type of person I was like, what is my brand? Like, what do people get when they go on my Instagram page, when they listen to my music? Does it? And I think part of what made me do that was the formal background of studying music business. It's like you sat down, because we had to manage an artist for 8 months. So you sat down with the artist and you laid their brand out. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this for myself. And then I hit but it's me. So I can't see what I'm doing or how I look on the outside to other people. And so what helped me a lot was And it just came to me accidentally because I was still stuck in that, okay, I guess I wear my hair natural. I think that's part of my brand. And I wear head wraps. That's part. And I was writing everything down and trying to shape it and to do that structure. And then one day someone was like talking to me and they said, you know, because you're just this like approachable person. Like everybody looks at you and they just see like the spiritual naturalist, the earrings. And like in 2 minutes, that person spat out like every single thing that I was trying to find. And so I think that showed me that it was important.
Right? You made that apparent. They saw it.
Opinions and it's as simple as asking. I mean, sometimes your family can be biased because like my little sister is gonna see me as a big sister, and that comes with certain things. But asking your friends, you know, people who or a cousin that, you know, is really close with you or is kind of like a friend to you, just what do you get when you go on my page? What do you get when you listen to my music, when you look at me generally? And I think that's very helpful because then you can look at all of those things, and part of like Brandon is taking those things that are already natural and like putting them on page. So I think that was very helpful for me, at least finding out what my brand is. We are coming down. I'm so tempted to say 6 because my clock says 6, but I know it's 7 in Canada.
It's even 11 p.m. in Ghana.
Yeah, you're so far ahead. Thank you again so much for staying up to do this. So my last question would be, what would you advise artists not to do? Is there something that you ran into as an artist? Are there things that you learned along your journey that you would advise artists, you know, not to do or to kind of look into before doing?
Yeah, so a few things. Number one, don't mistake movement for achievement. That's something I tell myself all the time, because what I mean by that is, say you're moving, you're busy. It's like, busy doing what? How much are you juggling? Why are we so busy? You know, what are we actually achieving though for our project and our future self? What do we actually want to do? So don't mistake movement for achievement, in a sense of, you can be busy all you want, but what is your goal? What is your purpose? You know, so don't overwhelm yourself. You know, don't put so much. Like I said before, learn to say no. Don't let your mouth overload your back, right? So I think those are big things, is remembering that, hey, if you can't do that right now, don't do it. Do all you can do, as long as it's all you can do. Is even something else too, that's a funny thing I learned is, Jim Rohn said, like, say we do 1 push-up right now, right? We're working out. Is that all you can do? It's like, no, that's all you can do for now. You can do 3 tomorrow, maybe 10 next week, right? But so make sure you're doing all you can do, but make sure it's actually all you can do, right? And I think that's a big thing that I have to remember, that there's so much more to do. Don't put limits on yourself. Don't box yourself in. Be open, you know, like always have that creativity flowing, you know, and as well as in terms of like, if you kind of feel stuck, don't try to force yourself in that moment to figure everything out. Go outside, take a walk, you know, do something you love to do, move the body, work out, dance, play a song you like, and then come back. But don't stay in that stuck vibration, trying to force yourself to figure out in that moment what you need to do as well. And for let me see if I can think of anything else. There's a lot, but I would say, for one, as an artist, in terms of like, listening, don't shut out your gut. Don't shut out your intuition too. You know, that's your higher self speaking to you. And the more you listen to it, the stronger it will become, and the more it will guide you as well. As artists, as creatives, we're really intuitive. We're always in tuned, but we just got to tap in more, right? So never shut down that gut feeling. Explore it a bit if it doesn't make sense in that moment, but don't shut it down. Listen to your heart and listen to your gut. And also, don't shut out your own voice. You have a right to speak up. If you're not comfortable with maybe something, say a performance comes up and they say, all right, we're putting you on stage right now, let's go, go, go. You can be like, hold on, wait a minute. You told me I was going on this time. What's happening? You can inquire. Don't be afraid to ask questions. And if you're on stage, this is what I had to learn too. Test the mic. If the mic doesn't sound good, don't feel, oh, I feel too bad. I don't want to mess up the audience. I don't want the audience to think, oh, like she knows what she's doing. Forget about it. They're here for you. So it's okay to ground yourself. Wait a minute. Excuse me, DJ. Turn it up a little bit. All right, DJ. Rewind. Start it over again. Don't be afraid to assert yourself, because if you don't do it, they will. Someone has to do it. Someone has to do it. Don't forget that. It's either you asserting yourself or they insert themselves on you, right? So as an artist, you're the star. You're who they're here for. You're who they want. And if you're not that person in that moment, you will become that. And you can believe that you are that person. You can naturally adapt that, like, yo, this is for me. This is my show. Yo, I'm amazing. I'm confident. Don't belittle yourself thinking that you're annoying people, you're annoying the DJ. No, it's okay. It's better to make the show amazing, make people actually hear you, than feel timid that, oh, I don't want to bother nobody. Bother people. It's okay. At the end of the day, do it in a respectful way, and they should understand. And if they get moody about it, that's not even you, that's on them. Just make sure you know how to say it. Talk to people and just stand your ground. Stand your ground. Don't let anybody tell you what you can't do, and use that to motivate yourself, if anything, as well. But speak up. Don't be timid if you can. Yeah.
Amazing. I think that's a great note to end it on. We are gonna move into Q&A. But while everyone's getting their questions in and all their comments, I just want everyone to drop their handles, Instagram or whichever one you use the most, just in the chat. It's just something that we do so that we're making sure that we're actually networking and connecting with each other. So I'll put mine in here. And okay, so I'll put here. But thank you so much, Zakisha, for all your gems, all the quotes, all the advice, all the stories. I'm pretty sure I learned a lot. So I'm pretty sure that everyone here picked something up, that they were able to take notes and write down, oh, I did the same thing that I advised you against. I sent it to all panelists instead of sending it.
Oh, okay, no worries. So did I write mine?
No, it didn't come. Hold on. Did it? No, I didn't get it yet. Okay, so everyone's dropping their handles in. Go check out each other, support each other, follow each other. That's how we grow, instead of, coming here and everybody's on and we're all sharing this experience together. This is going to be in all our memories as a collective experience, and then we just leave in nothing. So we try to do that, but I try to go to the Q&A here. How was moving to Ghana as an artist? I think we talked about that pretty in depth. That's from E. David.
Oh yeah, we did when you asked. Yeah, maybe he wasn't here.
Okay, so I don't know if you want to give a quick rundown, if that's okay with you, Zakisha, but also anything that you did miss, this is a recorded session, so you'll be able to get that on our website, which I'll just drop in here so that everybody can. It won't be up tomorrow, guys, but it will be up. So it's www.AfrowaveTO.com, and you'll be able to just go in and it'll be available in this kind of format, video, and then also as a podcast on Spotify. But if you are okay with it, you could just give a quick rundown about moving to Ghana and affected you as an artist.
Yeah, definitely. I was also going to say, ask people actually before that, what type of artistry that everyone does, if they can kind of just write it in the chat, just so I know what everyone does, because I could recommend. You can also put your email. I can send you some practical things too to utilize that I use that maybe work for me. Like, for example, for DistroKid, for distribution platforms, right? Certain things that actually use that as well, right?
Yeah, that's what I use as well.
Perfect. So yeah, the DistroKid, thank you. Oh, perfect. Learned a music producer. That's beautiful. Yeah, so DistroKid is what I use in terms of like, yeah, the distribution aspect of it. Also kind of knowing like certain vocal techniques to utilize, certain links that I go on and things that I do beforehand is drinking the teas and the honey, maybe not talking for 20 minutes before going on stage, and just making sure that when you're on stage and you are performing, it's actually great to have, of course, a backup track where there's ad libs as opposed to rap, singing and recording with the whole song behind it. People want to hear your authentic voice, right? They already heard the real thing in Spotify. They want to hear your actual voice. They want to vibe with you. So it's actually a great idea to mix and master your backup tracks so that the ad libs can come on and it actually sounds really good in the speakers. The EQ, the quality is really great. So certain practical things that I can also tell you guys as an artist. So for this session, I more spoke on the mental, the spiritual, like staying strong in that areas and a little bit practical. But if you guys all want, I could definitely send you my email, and then actually I could take your email and then send you guys certain things that I utilize and learn about being an artist, having YouTube page and what that means, and gaining the subscribers. Also, don't be afraid. Last thing I'll say, then I'll answer the question. Don't be afraid to use the what's it called, Facebook promo. That honestly grew my brand, that grew my followers. All the people all over the world started knowing my music because of Facebook promotion. And Facebook promotion is what's on IG, right? I think Facebook owns IG or something, or yeah, something like, yeah. So you go on IG, you promote. The promotion is the number one thing for me. That's how I got from 13,000 followers to 17,000 followers just in a few weeks. And these are authentic people who also will talk back with you, DM you. Hey, I'm from Costa Rica, India, I'm from Dubai. Love your song Purpose. Love Went to Ghana. Oh my God, I'm African and I live in Italy. Your song made me miss it. So honestly, Facebook promo is my number one suggestion for outreach, honestly. And don't forget as well to answer your DMs, connect with your fans, connect with your people. They want to see that like you're human and you care about them, like you actually want to learn about them too. You want to know about them. You answering their questions so they don't feel like they're just tools being used for your music, because these are human beings and you're genuinely grateful that they listen to your stuff, right? So answer the DMs, check your request section, make it as personal as possible. And on your IG story too, I know I'm dropping a lot. Let me know if I'm going too fast.
Not for me. If she's going too fast, then you can just let her know. Also remember that it's being recorded, so you can always go back.
That's true. Yeah, as well as hope I didn't forget. Drop IG. Make it. Oh yeah, in the story, be as personable as possible in your story, like in terms of when people respond to your story, at least double click, hey, thanks, like respond to the comment section too. That really creates algorithms and it creates that genuine connection, and you actually want to just be grateful that they're taking the time to comment on your stuff and show you love, and utilize your story as well in terms of making people learn more about you as an individual, like who are you, how are you? That increases your algorithms and keeps things going. So on a practical sense, those are the things that's been helping me continue, and then just generally making good music too. So yeah.
Awesome. Someone said, so it seems like it's better to be an artist outside of North America. How would you best navigate the North American market? Let me know if I got that right. I think there's probably a typo.
And then also, while they let us know if they got that right too, I won't forget the 2 questions in there. Another practical thing too is, as an artist, when you're performing, it's really important you want to connect with your audience members. You don't want to make it seem like you're up there just performing and you dip. They're going to be like, okay, why are we here? Where's the crowd interaction? Where's the eye contact? Where's the daps? I know it's COVID times, but you can still, you get to still do a little fist bump, It shows that, wow, they're actually seeing me as a person in the audience and not just like, here just to spit anything at me, perform rap, and dip out. I've seen too many artists do that. They sing, disappear, poetry, disappear. But how can we actually engage and connect with the audience members, looking at people, interact with them? You know, don't be afraid if they're okay touching a shoulder, ask for consent, of course, but don't be afraid to play with the room. Come up from different parts. Maybe you can be sitting in your chair and you get up and start singing. They don't even know it was you performing. You can utilize the whole space, come from the back room, the front, the side, you know? So yeah, jump in the crowd. Exactly. You got to interact with your people. You know, they're here for you. And life is like a playground, especially as a creative.
Yeah.
This is your playground. Play with it as much as possible, you know? I know someone who has performed, ran outside, ran in a circle, came back, like, for no reason.
Do what you interact with your audience. And people remember that and they talk about it, and that's free promo for you right there.
Thank you. That was 7 years ago the person did that. I still remember it and I'm still talking about it, right? Yeah. So it clearly was for that reason, you know, so and other things. So yeah, those are just little practical things I wanted to drop. I'm dead. That's my friend. That's my friend. I didn't even know that was him. That's so funny. That's so funny. Wow. Eddie, the original one, the whole time. Oh man. But yeah.
I didn't get confirmation from that other person. But I'm gonna see if we could probably tackle it. Okay. From my perspective, and then I'll let Zakisha jump in.
Amazing. Beatbox, vocal coach. Oh yeah, Eddie. Artist, business coach, spoken word artist, music production, filmmaker. Amazing. Soca, reggae artist, rap and produce. Vocal techniques will be great. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so this question seems like it would be better to be an artist outside of North America. How would you best navigate the North American market? I assume that's what was being asked. We didn't get confirmation. So for me, I'm not gonna say that it's necessarily better to be an artist outside of North America. I think that it depends on who you're trying to reach. R&B does really well in Toronto. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think hip hop has a pretty good audience. But then I can speak for like reggae. I do reggae soul, so it's like sometimes it's really soul, sometimes it's really reggae, sometimes it's like a good mixture of the two. But I know for me, there's a niche like market for that, and so there is like a small community that listens to that and that buys that and that promotes that kind of music. And so being in Jamaica, where it's like reggae, it's dancehall, it's more welcomed on this end, I think, for me, and that's my experience with it. How I navigated the North American market was trying to still interact with as many people as possible. It didn't matter the genre, it didn't matter what their audience was, it didn't matter in terms of from the listener's perspective what kind of music they listened to. I tried my best to still, let people know who I am and what I do and where they can find me. Because you never know, someone who typically listens to a certain kind of music may enjoy one or two songs that you do. And so that's how I navigated. I try to go to as many networking events as possible. I know it's COVID now, but I mean, they're online stuff. As many workshops. I did stuff like Honey Jam. If you're from Toronto, you probably know about that. So still getting yourself out there. And then the other thing that I did that was helpful for me to navigate was I didn't limit myself to North America. So we live in the age of like social media promotion, like Zakisha was talking about, and the internet and all of that. So you can actually target your ads to reach people from different countries. And so when I was setting the target market for my ads, I didn't set them for Toronto. I didn't set them for Canada. I didn't even really set them for the US. I was looking at places where people listen to reggae a lot. So like Germany, Jamaica, you know, other places in Europe. And I found that I was getting better reception than when I didn't know about that, and I would like set it to Toronto or set it to the US. So that's one thing that you can do. Just kind of remember that where you are, like your music will reach people further than where you are. And so you don't have to just focus on that particular market where you're living, but you can look outside and, or even collaborate with an artist from, like I collaborated with artists from Jamaica. So now people in Jamaica know my music, even though I'm living in Canada. So when I come here now, people already know who I am, kind of thing. And so that's like, you kind of have to get creative with it, but there are ways to do that outside. I know Zakisha could talk about, you know, Ghana and her experience.
Yeah, Afrobeat is big down here, right? People are actually hungry for more hip hop though. So there are places where there are void of that. That is a perfect opportunity for you to actually come in, because you're not relying just, like I'm not relying just on Ghana to propel my music. Of course, you know, Atlanta, we know is huge. Toronto music scene, you know, Cali is big. You know, different parts of the world, they're big. But if you find places where they actually don't have that there, that's even a better opportunity to now be that, almost like the, not necessarily first in that sense, but a rare artist that's like, yo, I haven't seen this in a long time, if ever, right? So that's what I'm using to my advantage, like being in Ghana, people actually not seeing like a hip hop artist of a woman who can actually deliver like this. Someone's like, oh my God, you're a woman, you love Africa, you love Ghana, like this is rare, you know? So I personally have known that all of us being in Toronto and Canada, we say that we need more support down here, and there needs to be better guidance, better mentorship, all of that to push people forward. So I think honestly, it also helps to create like your own little community, maybe your own little WhatsApp group. That's also what I've done too. Create a little WhatsApp group where you share and exchange information. Like here, I just did this workshop today. Bam, we learned about doing this, we learned about that, we learned about power of the mind. And if that person can also be like, oh, I did this today. So maybe create a WhatsApp group or some type of community of your own that can propel your networking. Maybe get some people from different parts of the world, like, hey, you're in Atlanta, well, this is what Toronto's doing. Oh, this is what Atlanta is doing. So creating your own community network group from people outside of yourself, you know? And it's just gonna take time to meet those souls, but stay connected as much as possible, because they will help you. Hey, come to this event in Atlanta, come to this event in Cali. Oh, Ghana's doing this, you know? So I really believe in the power of networking and community and creating that for yourself too, because yes, Toronto needs help and there's so much creative people there. So we can be our own leaders. We all can govern ourselves and be powerful within ourselves to do that, do what we need, that we're looking for, you know? Even if you can't do everything, that's when you create that WhatsApp group so that you know someone who can, you know? So, yeah.
I see 2 more questions here. Time check, 6:18 on my side. How do you build a following when you only have less than 100 persons following? And then I guess this one follows up after that. How often should you post on social media to keep growing your page? I guess I could speak on my experience, and then I'll hand it over to Zakisha as well. So for me, I know like I have no expertise in social media marketing or anything. I have tried for years to like go to all the workshops and understand it more. But the things that worked for me to get, because there's a time I know where my page was like stagnant at like 1,000, and then it doubled in 4 months. And what got me to that place was literally just networking. Like I was everywhere. Early 2019, mid 2019, like I was everywhere. Everyone knew me. I was running up and down everywhere, going to all the workshops. Within reason, guys, don't overexert yourself. But all the workshops I could, I was taking part in as many things as I could handle. At the time, I was working at a studio, pretty popular studio in Toronto. So people were coming in and out of their recording and so on. So I was getting that interaction as well. So essentially, I was strategically placing myself to network with people, to meet people, to connect with people. And then because it's like, it's the social media age, everybody's like, oh, you're on Instagram? Yeah, you blah, 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 blah. That's a follower. And that's from a genuine interaction. So now it's not just someone that's just going to follow you and unfollow you in a year. It's or less. It's a genuine interaction that you had. You talked with this person. So it was just creating genuine conversations. It was, sometimes you're at networking events and you'll just see like groups of people who already know each other talking to each other at a networking event. I would go into the group and be like, hey, I'm curious, like, this is what I do, what do you do? And now that's like 6 persons there who know you and are interested in seeing what you're doing. And you have 6 other people that you can check out too, because someone in there may be someone that you can collaborate with. So that really helped me. Social media promotion helped me, like when I had a music video or I had a song that I was promoting at the time, using those paid ads. I'm not gonna say you get the best return in terms of the amount of people that follow you, but you do get people who see it and are like, oh, I really like this song, I want to hear what this artist has come in next. So those are the things that helped me. And also there's like, I call it like secondhand interaction. So it's that you, like right now, I'm interacting with Zakisha, and if we're following each other on Instagram, then someone that follows her, my account may get recommended to them as well. So for me, it was really just interaction, like human interaction, and then promotion. That's what really got my account from being stagnant to actually starting to get some people. So in terms of how often you post, just that part, I don't have a strategy that I use for posting. I post when I'm comfortable, or when I post when you have something to say. I would say on your feed, because that's kind of where people go to see what you're doing and the important stuff, like if you're releasing music, if you just collaborated with someone. And then I try to do little things on my story. So if I went out with my family, there are nice beaches here in Jamaica. Everybody loves a tropical shot. I put that up on my story, so that even if your feed isn't super active, your story has movement. And so people are able to see that you're still here, you're still active. Get behind the scenes shots if you're in the studio recording. If you're writing with someone, you can, if you know, with permission, if everyone's good, you can get a shot of that. So I tried to find the interesting moments in my day and post that. I don't have like a certain amount of times that, at least for me, that I post. Zakisha, if you had anything to add?
Yeah, I was gonna say, for how do you gain the followers? Content, number one. Content 100%, because people need to know, why are they following you? What am I keeping up with? What's happening, right? And so as an artist, feel free, please post your freestyles, like, you know, if your acapellas, your anything that, especially in your creative endeavors, the followers will grow. They're like, wow, she has a dope voice, follow. Oh my God, that rap line was so lit, follow. You know, that beatboxing is amazing, follow. You know, like when they see the content that you're consistently putting out there. And people really appreciate not only content, but consistency. Even if you're not that dope of an artist, let's be real. People will still support. Like, yo, you know what? I believe in this person from day one. I love their work ethic. They even inspire me. So even if some people don't like your music, your work ethic might just inspire them for another field. Some people could be mechanics, and you just going for it, even if they don't feel like you're that good. The fact that you are going for it consistently, they're immediately inspired. So they follow you for inspiration, for content, you know, for that good feel energy, you know. So, and don't be afraid to also tap into some reels and TikTok videos, you know, utilizing some creativity in that sense, right? There's so much out there that we can do. It doesn't always have to be related to music. There can be other stuff, maybe on zodiac signs or love life or personal life, sharing what you're going through if you feel comfortable. People love relatability, and content as well, you know? So that's something that you could take into account to add on to what you say. And then for me, I noticed that when you disappear for a bit on, like if I disappear for a bit on my story, in terms of the answer to the second question, how much time you should post, I used to thought it used to be like at least once a week, twice a week. But I realized on the main page, that's okay. You don't have to post every time. You actually need to give that time. I would say even once every week and a half, let's say, or once every 2 weeks, if you gave yourself that time, just to have people feel like, oh, bam, oh, it's the next thing. I noticed a big jump in my algorithms. I noticed a big jump in my followers, in my comment section. When I post a photo that's like out of nowhere, then maybe if I disappear again in 3 weeks or a month, another photo, bam. But if you're always posting, they go, yeah, okay, we'll see. Yeah, I've seen that or whatever. So some people, I don't know if it's a human nature, they like secrecy. So if you disappear for a month, oh, well, what have you been doing? Then I noticed you need to disappear for a bit. If you're gonna do that, make sure the first thing you post is something that is needed. For example, if I disappear for maybe 2 months, I drop my album, bam. The first thing they're gonna see on my story is my album, because the first click, people are trying to see what you're doing. If it's interesting enough, then they'll continue, right? So as soon as you disappear, make sure the first thing you're gonna drop is something that is of substance, right? That you want most people to see. So disappear for a bit, drop something substantial, and more people will see it on your story. Or if you want to be consistently posting once a week, twice a week, then that's cool. You can do something that's creative, engagement, asking questions, TikTok videos. Then you can do your own performances, your beatboxing, your DJ skills, your writing, your singing, your rapping, all of that. They want to see content that makes sense if you want to gain the followers. That's mainly if you want to gain followers. As humans, we're allowed to post what we want, when we want, if we don't care. But if you care and you have intention, remember your intentions, then these are good steps to utilize what we both said. Yeah.
I think just to add to that quickly, also be yourself, guys. Like I am the type of person who, for me, I post frequently. That's just me, because it's just something that I always have something where I'm like, okay, I feel like it's so at least once a week I'm posting, once every 2 weeks, like max. I'm not the type of person who's gonna hit you 4 times a week with something. Unless I'm really promoting something, you're not gonna get a post from me 4 times a week. But I post frequently enough that there is something for you to see on my page when you come on that next time. But all of that to say, if you're the type of person who is like that, where once a week is good for you, once every 2 weeks, but you feel that, okay, to gain followers, I need to be posting more frequently. And now you start hitting people 3 times a week, 4 times a week, 5 times a week, 3 times a day. Yeah. That's what they're going to start expecting from you. And then you have to keep that up. So now when you've dropped your post back, if you're not able to keep that up, now people aren't getting what they originally expected. And so that's what I realized is, if the best thing is to just be yourself and do what you can maintain, because the minute you switch it up, now you're creating a new expectation for yourself, and that can create problems for you in terms of what you're able to maintain. And I think that even goes into the music as well. It's like, if you expect, we've seen it time and time again. Taylor Swift was probably a good example, where like she starts out with a certain genre and then she just went to pop, and people eventually get used to it. But you have some people you may lose because of that, or some followers that you may lose because of that, or a big chunk of your audience that got used to a certain thing from you. So at the end of the day, know what you can manage, know what works with your audience, and know what you can maintain, because you're the one who has to post and you're the one who has to kind of keep that going. So go ahead.
Also, if you also have a team of people, say now you have someone who can manage your IG, maybe you don't have to post as much, or maybe you can also create a structure of how much you want to promote. But at the end of the day, you also have to remember that the followers will always come. The people are always going to come. People always are going to be there to look out for your music. Just remember that from within yourself, because if you lose a few followers, if you were consistently posting and all that stuff, and you want to take time to just relax, you ain't gotta like keep up with it all the time either, because at the end of the day, people will always come. You disappear for maybe a month or half a year, you drop something, people are there. Humans will always be there, so don't beat yourself up too much of having to consistently always follow that trend. Oh, people will always be there and more, especially when you drop something out of nowhere and disappear for a bit. Like, we just gotta not take it so serious in that sense, and know how to like just be playful with it, and that no one's going anywhere. And if they do, they weren't meant for you. They weren't real followers. They weren't real fans. They weren't real supporters. So also the real people will continue coming as well. So
Yeah. Always remember, guys, it is a marketing tool. That's one thing I have to remind myself. I know that now it's like everything you eat has to go on, everything that you wear has to go on, but it's at the end of the day, it was created as a marketing tool. Use it as such, because if you don't use it, it will use you. You have to find a way to monitor it. And, like Zakisha said in the beginning, set your level, set your energy, and everybody else that follows you and is interested in what you're doing, they'll come up, they'll match that. If it isn't for them, they'll go, and you didn't want that kind of, flaky support anyway. So you do your thing, and don't let it kind of take over your so if there are no more questions,
I was gonna say as well, like, don't take things too personally, even if you do some followers. Some people do actually deactivate their accounts. Some people actually are just tired. They just don't want to see nothing no more. There's so much going on in the world right now that we just have to remember, like, this is social media. We utilize it to the best, just like you said. We use it. Don't let it use us. And I always say self-love to me is not running to my phone when it rings, because I run my phone. My phone don't run me. We run our phones. We run our lives, right? Just remembering that. Yeah.
So if we are at the end. I see no more questions. Okay, just double check I didn't miss anything. Alrighty, so this is where I say thank you so much to everyone. Thank you, Zakisha. Special thank you to you to doing this. I know it's like 11 o'clock, almost 12 o'clock there now. We really appreciate everything that you've said, all the advice, all the quotes, just sharing your journey with us. It's a very personal journey. An artist's music journey is very personal to them. And so we appreciate you kind of opening up and allowing us into your space and telling us what you've been through, just in an effort to help us elevate ourselves. I want to thank everyone who came on, because you guys are really critical. The workshop is not the same if you're not on. We'll just be talking to each other and it would not be the same. Everyone who was using the chat, we really appreciate that as well. We have 5 other workshops that are planned. I know someone was asking, we had 2 persons ask about social media. We actually have a music marketing workshop that's coming up. That should be in October, but for the next 5 weeks, we'll be here bringing more industry professionals and more people who've kind of been through it, to help all of us elevate ourselves and learn from each other. So have a good night, everyone. Thank you so much.
And I wanted to say one last thing as well, because something just to stick in your heart as well. There was actually 2 quotes I wanted to say. For one, the major thing to ask yourself in life is not what are you getting, it's what are you becoming. From being that artist, not what am I getting, how much money am I getting, what followers am I getting, what am I becoming from that? As a person, as a human being that's lived on this earth for a long time, we have to be happy with who we're becoming more than what we're getting, because we can get, but we can get and we might be depressed, get and we might not feel satisfied, get and we're not content. So what are you becoming from being an artist? Something to ask yourself. And the last thing, I actually wrote down this as well, that success is something that it's not something that you pursue, it's something that you attract as well, right? And once again, I'm a big believer, as you guys know already, by energy and how contagious energy is. they call it Murphy's Law, when we wake up miserable and bad things keep happening, but it's just universal laws that we live with in life. So yes, life, of course, we're living here physically, we're understanding music, but also the spiritual aspect has helped boost me up more. And what I mean by spiritual is knowing that I'm an energetic being, I'm an abundant being. So if I become that, and if I believe that within me, I know that all these other little mundane things, negative people, all this madness, the drama in the comment section, I don't have to absorb. I just observe it and keep moving. And that will continue to grow my energy, raise my vibration, and connect with like-minded souls like yourself on that vibration so we can continue going together. So just wanted to leave you all with that.
Thank you so much. That is the best way to end this. I hope to see everyone at all the other workshops. We'll be dropping the link at AfrowaveTO on Instagram, and I look forward to having a conversation with all of you guys. Thank you so much again, Zakisha.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here as well. Thank you for hosting. You're an amazing host. Love your questions. Love your smile. Big up to you in Jamaica. Sending you so much love. It's so nice meeting you officially. Big up Lexicon for all of this hard work that is needed and essential for artists. Everyone for showing up for yourselves, for showing up for everybody, but mainly ourselves. We need this, right? And at the end of the day, it'll have a ripple effect and help everyone else. So much love to you.
Everyone, have a great night, and we'll see you at all the workshops.
Oh, and quick one. I want to be able to get their emails before you close it. Screenshot it or something.
We can do that.
Let me do that. I don't want to lose it.
I don't know if you guys want to send an email to Afrowave, and then I can forward that. If you wanted to connect, just in case everyone doesn't want to just drop their emails here. I don't know.
Oh, that's true, actually. Yeah. I'll screenshot what's here, and if I can even DM them because I seen they put it in the chat. Okay, perfect. Okay. Yeah, I'll do that.
To put that in the chat, that's totally fine. I'll also just send the Afrowave email so that you can just let me know, hey, I was in the workshop. You know, I just wanted you to forward my email. Oh, I think you sent that to me privately.
Oh, sorry, let me send it to everybody.
It happens all the time.
Let me send this. My email is zakishamusic@gmail.com. Any questions? Like I said, I want to be able to send you guys some notes too. Okay, perfect. So I'll do that. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night. Bye. Much love, Atlanta. Amazing. Awesome.